we've done some of the heavy lifting of getting there, of what Paul intended before you read verse 12. He never intended the church to just say, hey, go to verse 12, or chapter 12, and read verse 12, and then go home and feel good about life. He wanted you to do what we did, which was to go through it all, and then we get to Romans 12, and the very beginning of Romans 12 is an amazing start before we can even get to the application that he's talking about. He says, I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. How many of you want to know what God's will is for your life? Oh, I should see everything, right? Everyone like, God, what do you want me to do with my life? Especially seniors, like, I have no idea. Like, I go to college and no, I've been told my whole life I go to college, and then I go to college, and then what? And I went to college, and then I graduated, and I'm like, oh, I have to like work, and I only get like 10 days vacation? This sucks. Can I go back to college? And then I decided, oh, I know, I should be a teacher, then I can get my summers back, and it's awesome. So, if you want to keep your summers, go into teaching. It works. Yeah, we gotta do continuing education, and we gotta keep learning, and all that stuff. But, I love the flow and the pattern of chunks of time. Of I have a semester, then break, and the semester, then a break. That's how my personality works. And what was hard after college was just like, it was just like this forever. Like, I just work forever, and then I die. Like, that's it. Like, I get 10 days, and then after like 10 years, I get like 20 vacation days a year, and then at some point I retire, and then I die. Is that life? Is that all I'm supposed to do? What Paul is saying is that if you present yourself as a living sacrifice, right? Old Testament sacrifices, they die. Jesus died for you, so you get to be alive, so you're a living sacrifice. And he says your life should reflect that. If sacrifices were perfect, then your life should reflect the perfection of Christ in you. Are you going to make mistakes? Yes. Are you going to screw up? Yes. Are you going to get back on the horse? Yes. Are you going to persevere? Yes. Are you going to stand up and keep going? Yes, yes, yes. Always, 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 always. Because the moment you stop, then what? You're back to square one of, what is the purpose of my life? What do I keep doing? If you want to know how to discern God's will, he says, do not conform to the world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. And then by testing, by trying, by asking questions, by figuring it out, God and the Spirit inside of you will help you discern the will of God. And then he goes on to the rest of chapter 12 and 13 and 14, telling the church, here are all the do's and the do nots. And notice that he saved it for the end. He had to correct their theology, what they misunderstood about themselves, about God, about forgiveness, about grace, redemption, about sin, all those things. And then he starts telling them, now here's what you do. And that's where we find Romans 12. 12 is right in the middle of, here are all the do's, here are all the things that he would encourage them. In the very beginning, after that he goes on and talks about spiritual gifts. So he says, don't be conformed. Here are spiritual gifts. Everyone has a different one. Find it, look for it. That's the Holy Spirit that is giving you something unique to offer to the church, to each other, to the world. And then he says, let love be genuine. This is verse 9. Let love be genuine. Abhor what is evil. Hold fast to what is good. Love one another with brotherly affection. Outdo another in showing honor. Love and outdo, like make it a competition. I want to outdo you in showing honor to everyone else. I want to outdo you in love. I want to outdo you in grace. I want to outdo what you're doing in all these amazing things. Because if we're all outdoing each other in love, man, that's a lot of... Well, if we're outdoing each other in sacrifice, that's a lot of sacrifice. If we're outdoing each other in when we say honor and respecting each other, that is a lot of grace that we're showing to each other. Do not be slothful in zeal. Be fervent in the spirit. Allow the Spirit working. Serve the Lord. Rejoice and be patient in tribulation. Be constant in prayer. Contribute to the needs of the saints and seek to show hospitality. And I'll challenge you on the bus ride home to read the rest of it, verses 14 all the way down to 21. And he continues to tell the church, here are things that you can do to live your life in the Spirit. So what should you do now that you understand and grasp God in your life? You live it out. This process of sanctification, you do it for the rest of your life. And it is an engaging, promising, valuable, challenging, worthwhile journey that's better than anything the world has to offer. If you go the world's way, you'll be happy for a little bit, and you'll be disappointed. You'll be happy, disappointed, and you just do this game of back and forth. But with God, God's way is, it's up and down, but then God's with you going up and down. And saying, I get it, you're the same, I'm going to try it tomorrow. You have someone that you want me to invest into, that's worthwhile. I want to spend the rest of my life investing in other people and teaching them about you, God, that's worthwhile. I want my children to see their father travel the world and invest in other people, that's worthwhile. I want my wife to know that I love her like Christ loved the church, that's worthwhile. I want the people that I work with to see, wow, there's something going on in his life. God's doing something with him. That's worthwhile. I want my life to have meaning and value, and the only way that you can do that is with God going alongside with you, taking him with you wherever you go. Sometimes he has something specific for you, and sometimes it's just in general, he just wants you to go. What he doesn't want you to do is just to stop and wait. Like, well, I'm just going to wait for a sign. I'll wait for my burning bush moment. I'll wait for... No, don't wait, do. Don't wait, do. Go do something. It's a daily thing. Maybe it starts with your family. Maybe you need to figure out a way to connect with your family. Maybe it's your friends. Maybe it's at school. Maybe it's something outside of school. Maybe it's in your youth group. Maybe whatever that is, there's something that you can do to take out with you and allow him to continue to transform your life and make your life meaningful. I promise that he will do an amazing work in you, more than you can ever do on your own. And I know you've tried it. You've tried to do it on your own, and it doesn't work. You end up feeling more depressed, more broken, more lonely, more isolated. Break out of that. Lean into God. Right? Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Lean into other people who are a good role model for you. Find friends that will support your pursuit of Christ, not bring you down in your pursuit of Christ. If your friends are mocking you for decisions that you made, then shame on them. They shouldn't be your friends, and I'm going to pray for them. If you're here and you're wanting to pursue Christ and your friends are mocking you, there are no friends. Satan sneaks around in various forms, and mockery is one of them. So don't allow that voice to speak to you. Don't let someone deter the message that God has given you. Separate yourself for a time. Allow people to speak truth into your life. I have 3 simple things that you can do, and you won't stray far. It's simple. If you're writing this down, 3 words, and they all start with R. Look at that. Ready? Read, relationship, repeat. Read God's Word. You're not going to know God unless you read about God. Read God's Word. Read other people that have written about God, that explain God. Because sometimes, I get it, this is hard to understand. So ask someone, hey, do you have a recommendation of a book that would help me understand this topic that's written by a strong Christian, Bible-believing author that really wants you to wrestle with and get God's Word? Find a devotional. Find something that gets you into this. Relationship. Reading should directly impact your relationship with both God and with other people. God has built us to be relational people. Some of us are extroverted, some of us are introverted. But if Jesus says, love God, love others, right, those are the 2 greatest commandments. And that when you read that, all the implications that come from that it implies time, it implies experience, it implies knowledge, it implies quality, it implies commitment. In your relationship with God and in your relationship with other people, it takes time, it takes experience with God, with other people. We've done both of those here. It takes knowledge, going back to reading, quality, the depth of your relationship. You can know someone, or you can know about someone. You can know about God and not know God. When it says that even the demons believe and shudder, it means that they know about God, but they don't know God like we know God. Commitment. That's when you're saying, I'm in it for the long haul. Regardless of what happens tomorrow, I'm going to follow him. The God that was with me yesterday, that is with me today, will be with me tomorrow, even though I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Even if something bad happens, I'm going to commit and believe that God is a good God and will be with me tomorrow. And then you repeat, you do the same thing. If you keep going that route, He will direct you and guide you into exactly what it is that He wants you to do. You can never go wrong by simply seeking God. Just asking the question, God, what do you want me to do? And you're like, God isn't telling me what He wants me to do. My response would be, the fact that you're asking the question is what He wants. The fact that you're even stopping in a moment and saying, God, what do you want me to do? Is sometimes all He wants you to do. Is just to ask. And His answer was, I just want you to ask. I just want you to acknowledge that I'm there. And that I'm with you. And right now, just keep doing what you're doing. Well, one of the best advice, and it came out of Christian life, and I believe it's in Hezekiah, about the story of Hezekiah, that God was silent in his life for a period of time. And what he did was the last thing that God told him to do. So that's always my default is, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, I'm just going to do the last thing that He told me to do. I'm going to keep doing it until He redirects me. Last thing He told me to do was to be a teacher at Northwest. And I'm going to keep doing that. Until I die. And I'm going to enjoy it, I'm going to love it. Until He directs me to do something else. Read, relationship, repeat. Right? God. Sometimes we oversimplify to the detriment of truth. And sometimes we overcomplicate to the detriment of relationship. And I pray that we bring the two together, that it is both as simple as love, acceptance, but as complex as seeking justice and really understanding right and wrong and living that out. We want to love mercy, act justly, and walk humbly with you. Pray with the students as we head back down to where it's very hot. I pray for all of our sports teams. Any injuries, any frustrations with their inability to be a cohesive team, that you would work through them. I pray for students as they're getting ready to go back to school tomorrow, for teachers as they're prepping tomorrow, that you would give us a restful night's sleep. You would allow us to recover, and that we wouldn't forget the moment that we had with you this past 48 hours, God. Thank you for the amazing worship that we've had, and that we can end on a high note. We love you. It's in Jesus' name.